With the blended and hybrid learning model, though, there are opportunities to save quite a bit of money. So on average across the nation, fully in-person costs about $10,000 a student. A hybrid and blending model saves us some money at $7,600, and then fully virtual would be the cheapest option, which is about $5,500. So we also found that it's about 24% less to educate a student using a blended and hybrid learning approach. And the return on investment is about 3 years, according to Maloney in his article that did the research on a blended learning program studying students in graduate programs. So some reasons for that cost saving is that there's a reduced need, as I guess if you're applying it to like a elementary, middle school, high school setting, there's a reduced need for district provided transportation and lunch. So if you have fewer students in the building, there's fewer students that you need to get there, and there's fewer students that you need to feed, which brings those costs down. Personally, my district did an every other day blue and gold cohort. So with that being said, we only used half the food that we normally would because only half the students were in the building at a time. There also are other free resources that are provided by the state or local libraries that can be utilized to help students out when they're not in school. So for example, in Washington County, where my school is, the local public library offers something called BrainFuse, which is access to tutoring online. So they're actually talking with an actual tutor, where instead they would be in the teacher's class after school. Now they can get access to tutoring for free through the public library with a library card. There's also the Libby app, which is access to audiobooks. So rather than the school spending money on audiobooks, students can utilize these. So maybe there's less of a need to continue spending more money on books in a media center at a school. Since students are learning at home, they have access to this stuff all the time. There's also a reduce in just the building cost. Like if there's less students there on less days, that's less heating, that's less cooling. There doesn't need to be additions for more space because there's only half the students there at a time. And just general maintenance with less people there, there's less to maintain, which would also help save money with those positions as well. And finally, probably the most cost savings would be the ability to accommodate more students. So back to my example where every other day it was half of the class. I had a class of 32, so every day I only saw 16 students. Potentially that class could be doubled to 60, where I'd see a normal size class, about 30 students every day. This could be even further increased if using the teacher assistant model. So bringing in people who might not have a teaching license, but they have a degree in the field. They can help support the teacher, help with some of the grading, so that the teacher can accommodate more students. So with that model, there's less licensed teachers needed, which means there's less salaries that a district would have to pay.